Luminant luminats. There of here am and I am for we of you. Call me a reflection of Thoth, call me charlatan, call me superstitious of placebo, call me a slippery mercurial slithering for slather, call forth of us what thou wilt of what thou will. We of us know how to spread our icings thin and skate free, to stack our cakes to our happy fleets of shore-ups. Other than hereby blowing smoke in your face, nor here to superstitiously pass any stone-cold judgments presently, or other than igneous to the liquefations of your ethereal magmas, we've pre-shuffled our three-way cut of draw for whatever resins stick in resignation with this pipe for your peace to sleep under what dreams may catch in your midst. Heave hove an ear for oar, or sail beyond this sailing pitch to marketing of this ship's main mast at working careen of keel. This is to be a living cascade of probabilities derived from our pasts, underscoring, overlaying in presentation, and or otherwise superimposing in chrysalis of interreflectivities for returns at heart in wings of our futures. Regarding the works at job of financing our hearths under stoves in cornerstone from our churches within which we may be preaching to the choirs as investments at risk of being unsung heroisms. In other sums for second measures before first cuts, marketing around the commercial breaks of business as usual. However so out of the ordinary these forecasts may seem, pulling from the superstition of placebo, may float us across the dangers of the moat of merit, and through prerogatives prudent for fruition. So harbor pause for regret, disguised by contrast as lessons learned. If you're other than in this for the trade and channel of lucrative soul, hereafter is your opportunity once from again to again vacate, for informative perceptions on coming after the quick countdown through decimals between 3 number and that one divisible placeholder of vacancy, for if 1 and 2 are 3 is 4 0, then that going to be 5 to 9 rather than 9 to 5. So other than work too hard, working it over, working it. Chop water, carry wood, damnations, rouse the thicket. Okay, now that you had your chance to run from for the hills, here's that potentiality on coming of how to consider what we've to featherweight in wager of heft to heart of markets for sakes of what business we've invested so far. Let's cry. Wow. Remember, this is a for the love of busyness living book reading. Sovereignties. From the peak of our elemental sovereignties, we are tumbling from the wheel of our watering mill. What's churning in our dropping bucket of troughs here? Let's see what's lucrative. Here in listens for feels of what she got, of we gots, for our of heavenly get-go round fortunes wheeling in mayhem to marry Our markets Key holds open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for words as Sun in Sagittarius, power gained from unifying consciousness and unconscious energies. Conscious and unconscious energies, wholeness. Indicative, process of discovering strengths. Trust your inner guide. You may take position in groupings which may help develop and unfold potentials. Quest. Are you a smidgen afraid of your ownership's strength? In what arenas of your life does this fear crystallize? Affirmation. I know more and more clearly who I am. This recognition leads to the full development of my potential strength. And by the way, if you feel the call for the need to hit the pause button after any of the quests, affirmatives, or indicatives to run anything that may come up in your mind, that might be something you might consider doing here on out. Remember, this is a For the Love of Busyness living book reading. And elemental sovereignty in upper right of our medicine wheel, in the charge of this condensate cascading, what is spiriting this current of lucrative soul? We have key holds on lock. Of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for word as physical nourishment, overcoming the barren past. Indicatives. You have passed through an arid stretch on your journey and have now arrived in more fruitful surroundings. Now you may rest and devote some attention to yourself and your physical needs. Quest. In what ways have you neglected your body, your outer self? Do you indulge yourself? Affirmative. I give my body the gift of loving attention. It gives me the gift of life energy, joy in living and in health. Remember, this is a For the Love of Business living book reading. And what elemental sovereignty is this charging forth, freed from static potentiality through spirit of lucrative soul, as the lower right spoke at hub of our money wheel? Here, as olfactory of wind mill carrying scents from blossom to dusting bosoms, here's what air of our business has pollinating. Key holds on lock for bringing myths of glyphs to legends for words as inner and outer richness, great success, unification of the body and soul, material and spirit, heaven and earth, wholeness. Indicatives. Mirror of your readiness to live a life that is inwardly and outwardly rich. All needs at hand are met hand in hand, step by step. Give yourself up to the fullness of life and learn to use your wings. Quest. What arenas of your life would you like to make richer? Affirmations. Wealth is my natural condition. It allows me to express my spirituality and creative potential in this world. Remember, this is a living book reading. This is a for the love of busyness living book reading. Whew. For and of Sovereign of your Fire on watch duty. For Stokes fueling our hue of ash and burn for exchanging death for enlightenments. What does the spark of our flint and steel have from show to show us as kindling bearers of fate's forgers under hammer of anvil, being hilts to pommel out luck of trades heralding double-edged swords in justice, of blind truth yielding to our spears of destiny, as chariots of our own oneness with the central sun? What fiery envies are we wicking to our needs for tallow in our flits of instinctual hungers for a pleasant slow burning off of our desires' living embers? How more mindful of our waste could we be considering burning that through its after midnight into the witching hour from both ends? And why is fire getting so much more description regarding the business of this reading? Perhaps having to do with its natural expeditions of expediency to our matters at heart of possible preservation? Controlled burn or raging blazes of unwieldy intent? Let's suss out the dangers with that risk of warmth simmering from our ultimate evaporates. Keyholds. Open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for words as Leo, passion, multidimensional creativity, talents, strengths, integration of animalistic energies, overcoming old fears and conditionings, indicatives. If you are ready to accept all which you find in yourself, you will be able to move through everything with deep sensitivity, awareness, love, and understanding. Quest. What arenas of your life would you like to live more fully? What has prevented you from doing so in the past? Are you ready to deal with this anew? Affirmative. I enjoy living to the utmost. Remember, this is a for the love of business living book reading. Sovereign elemental solidities, what's greasing from spoke to hub of whole wheel here, moving round to the upper left of the fire beneath to settle under our watery capped peak, our phoenix lands upon what has got becoming of our wants here on earth. What jealousies will earth thaw free of our crystalline fears of lack mentality, for wants for needing knots to untangle? If the shoe fits, do we wear it? let us try what may be put on for our sizing ups. Or barefoots or whatnots. Get connected. Or whatever's at hand to stir us out of any other than healthy stagnancy. What's at play solidly mirroring in the ephemeral here with our platonic castles made of what we're given to erect from seemingly random to ordeals of corporeal natural order, as appearances can be misleading? What's business getting messages to our deserts caked in all frosting as real? Keyholes open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for words as Gemini, love, attraction approaching, connection, union of opposites through love, becoming conscious through relationship, indicatives, wonderful and exciting love relationship, current relations either deepen or end, depend or run away endearingly. Methodologies of interpersonal growth refine as integrations of your own opposing aspects present themselves as you turn towards and interact with another or group. Quest. What do you seek in the people you love? What comprises a fulfilling relationship for you? Affirmative. I am now ready to meet the partner I have always longed to meet. And that's the halves of what holds here and or there for Earth. Love it or leave it. And Faye flit up to no ire with okay for care to lend these of those hands, foot to bill at drop of hat, and ahead in this our game, we folk mean busyness. We'll write more about this draw of sap from trunk of presenting tree, roots to falling from canopy tomorrow after some undercover shut-eye. Okay, we're back from our if you snooze, you other than lose, as all's fair in the war for love when marketing your trades of awareness with how our consciousness banks on ever really being asleep at the wheel of fortunes. For the overall intent is of an overriding pleasure for putting our sensitivities into easements of rest for recuperations, freeing us from the disciplines of our wealth of hell being for the support of our underlying health and well-being. Sponge that if the sop of resin soaps free of whatever counter to surface you've been cooking up in your phenomenal kitchenettes, clandestine to tribe. Simmering over our humming hearths for flits to fire's fancies, we have from your stone soups there to here, careful to maintain from double bubble, triple daring boil over to simmer downs, and on to intertwine through the spokes of second set of 5 before we get our grease to axle for relationships and partnerships. We've our gots to trade for gets with of the 5 sovereignties reflecting polarizations of the quantum estates, living in flux, phoenixing through our collapsing of what was consciously or otherwise nesting in our futures, fueling the fires of our awareness in support of what may otherwise be hidden, granting our poise in solid state graced with this our illusory dichotomy of options. To our businesses at hand, we've get for our gots a sum of guts to glorify there of here, now, gone tomorrow, ever calling forth again and again. And here of then now we're going to treadmill our wheel of business before as us step by stepping down into our falling in puffed up reflections of what may be above and or over our heads in golden threadings of allure oncoming weaving us into our silver linings of futures wallowing in the tallows we have to work with through no small feats while we get our moves on with what job bests our suits to uniform ahead without the dress code of further narrations birthed from the prescription and play to our prancies for that on-the-fly tongue of frog licking kiss for toad stooling fey irie ring bell true to clairaudial hallucinations that may bring clarities to what dew may be readily to rise from its settle in our dark. We may be on the brink of dusking. So for the hexagonal 6 in our city of sand, as through the hours of glass we may be falling in alignments 1 by 1 or 2 for 2, drop by drop for love, wearing many disguises. We ourselves may even mask oddly enough amidst our wondrous masquerade of this marvelous ball of the first 5 of our transcendental 6th century descriptors with which we intuit for our sifting filter through logic and reasoning of application empowering by wisdom's use of knowledge. At what point may we need to say something along the lines of, "Ah, main mount, to fuck with this business, eh?" Remember, this is a for the love of business living book reading. From our mothering waters peeking over the forefront and driven by its own all-consuming light through the prisms as carrier of airs, down and across hatching to our lower right of air to fortune's wheeling we have keyholds open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for words as highly discriminating or discerning, open to criticisms, critical self-analysis, indicatives, challenge being to drop worm's eye view, to see things from a higher plane. When you recognize time spans, aeons, and other contexts, which you are increasingly ready to do, you will then tend more and more to observe things in their beingness, to see free from evaluations. Quest: which methods will you use to gain deeper insights and greater wisdom? Affirmative. God is the unknown, the mysterious. The more I know that I don't know, the closer I am to the divine. Remember, This is a For the Love of Busyness living book reading. And from what's beaten under wing and through our bellows, from bottom right to upper left, as Earth's aura of poison to pollution transmuting in venom for milk of antidote, to breathe breath of life, in condensate of earthly delights. So much for presenting being on the fly. Here, swat me. We have... So after reviewing the upstream offline, I realized that I got the wrong card here, so I'm gonna have to re-upload it with this intersperse. The correct card is the Queen of Wands, and so just don't mind the overlay, because I'm just gonna leave that in the explicative of the Queen of Wands. Key holds open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends, for words as watery aspect of fire, self-knowledge, change, compassion, etsaman namaste. Indicatives: having worked on yourself progressively, it is time to learn how sharing this with others allows your self-realization to be expressed in your daily life. Quest: how can you share what you have found for yourself with other people? Affirmative: I am a radiant being filled with love, light, and love. Remember, this is a For the Love of Business living book reading. Stretching across the open arms of our hung scarecrow here, from left to right, over front and centered for channel of lucrative soul charging across to spirit in commerce of this busyness run, we have key holds open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends, for words as the watery aspect of water, as above, so below. Emotions shown openly, motherhood, emotional integrity. Indicatives: by showing your feelings openly, you become beautiful. There may be people who, other than understand you, other than concern yourself about it. There are enough others with whom you can share your feelings. Quest: are you open to your emotions and feelings? Affirmative: my openness and vitality makes me beautiful. And remember, this is a For the Love of Busyness living book reading. And from our upper right, magnetizing our needle in the haystacker of a wicker body's left glove, puppeting in our voodoo enthrall for doll, doting to our lower left, winging to bonfire of our conclave of crisscrossing hands, to clocking this ring around our rosy forecasts, we have key holds open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for words as airy aspect of fire, intensity, blossoming love, intuitive creativity, out of darkness into the light. Indicatives. You have all you need. Other than let yourself be contained. Other than let yourself be slowed down. Life is prepared to receive you. Trust your boundless creative potential. Quest. What challenges in your life? What challenges are present now in your life? Affirmative. I love life and life loves me. Remember, this is a for the love of busyness living book reading. Through to our setting suns evaporates of the left to lower above, through settling smoke speaking again from towers of fallen ash, backing up into what our mirrors reflect above in headiness as of our board meeting, percolating from our overriding waters partnership with great mystery in theaters of minds may stitch of hem, hexing us with our furtherings beyond finality for wild of heart and tame of card to consider transcending incidentally we may harbor in cartographic study of potentialities which with witching which to board in hitch to hatch and hutch of futures in shoring up and or vacating premise amidst what may trade temporarily blossoming from our travels bites of dust from moth to flame all get out spit of saliva 2 fingers snuff flit to flame depending on intent of draw of tallow to our wicked way this way comes something after it's all lights out guerrilla radio for size of relief. For this spear of destiny we are lined to harpoon with we have keyholds open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for words as Sagittarius, Sagittarius, unification of oppositions, balance, interchange, transformation, alchemy, a quantum leap, creative power, indicatives, challenging oneself to monitor what occurs through one's prism, attentively transmuting what is passing there in intuitive to what substantiates logical on reasoning wisdom to empower knowledge of your ownership of sovereign artistry pushed about by outside influences attempting to overload your impulsivenesses. Quest. What does it mean now for your hidden diamond, cut and multifaceted and or organic and raw? Affirmative. I surrender to the transformative powers of the divine here. I am an open channel for furthering divination and creative energy. Remember, this is a for the love of busyness living book reading. Here's what we may be hexing from apex to transcendental hygienes through good humors, for poking at the fires of furthering our fun with 6 to 9 of 3 as a completely lost magic in paragraph accidentally deleted we had written for our intro of our final 11th card in this business of forecast we may weather or otherwise. Summing up our trading of optionalities on this draw for what has been haphazardly rewritten from the haze of memorandum into this session's living book reading, on with our business to cut from 2 or more measures receiving this doctoring of what may be nursing us out of curses, from ancestral freedoms to discipline our escapes and or into our responsibilities through accountability in the contingencies of our forgiveness. Keyholds open lock of glyphs for bringing myths to legends for words as a blessing of AIR mid. the fairy gift of working with herbs, medicine, plants, and their blessings. Ayayarmid is a shining one in the Tuatha De Danann, and she oversees herbal healing. At this time, you have received the gift of this insightful ability, and you will be led to planets, herbs, flowers, and fruits that have healing properties. Give yours elf the benefit of learning more of plants and their sacred properties, and be drawn to eat well and to supplement with virtual herbs. Which will enliven you and bring you closer to your own personal version of true and beautiful health. I'm no prescription dietitian or anything. This is just the reading, so take it as is, because I follow this on the daily, moderately intermittent version of true and beautiful health. Take the time to appreciate the world of plants, which is truly the world of the fairies themselves, and grow your own healing herb garden if you can be. And know that the more you introduce these wonders of Ayayarmid to your world, the more blessed will you be. Seek the advice of those who have the herbal wisdom, and feel the slow delight of the growing world rush through your bones and blood, knitting, healing, repairing, regrowing. The world of healing herbs is supporting you, loving you, and ready to work with you for healing and restoration of deep, vital, glowing health. And so that was the blessing of Ayayarmid. XYZ, PDQ. Keep to your hygienes, light your candles, stir your stone soups, blow on your incenses, and rinse your auras, as this road of ours may get bumpy in the night, and at times unchained. And please do forgive the lucrative soul here by being flirtatiously flirted. May your fate be kind to you, may your luck be accruing, and may your destiny to you be of open arms. Be it bitten twice shy of disaster, nix to hex any crisscross of roads fallen, of tumble and tower to bridge over any obstacles instead of your steed for needs of any monstrosity, of wants settling or otherwise undersaddling what one or more may fortress around needs of citadel in palisades to settle any murks in undercurrents of what may so be moats. XYZ PDQ. Be it so moting with a plagiarism of prayer from the book A Grateful Heart to yours, and yours truly through you, and yours a quote. From the many who are one, to the one who is many, hallowed be our name. Blessings be unto us. Penned by Kenneth R. Kurtz. Until next tempora window unveils enlightenment to our sense of relinquished to shades, au revoir and akashawa.